Hi, I'm Melissa Atkins. I'm from the greater St. Louis area. I hold a bachelor's in music education and a minor in computer science from Murray State University. I am currently a software developer at Sketch Development. They're a really cool company that does lots of things, but one of the things is leasing out developers to clients in need. There, I employ agile practices to develop code using a variety of cutting edge technologies because Sketch is just cool like that. And this role has really honed my abilities in coding, problem solving, teamwork, and rapidly adapting to new challenges, which I think is super important in the tech sphere. So, the project I did for Savvy Coders, I did because I love self improvement books and applications. So, I decided to create a habit building website that is meant for busy people like myself and probably you who want to develop a more optimized lifestyle. The website will allow users to identify habits they would like to implement in their life and give them motivation and feedback to achieve their goals. Many other habit tracking apps or websites do not group habits by category or by specific feedback about possible reasons a user's habits are underperforming. So I've remedied this by including sections for users to group habits and program the app to have more in-depth analytics. Um, so if we look at the habit horizon, which it was Habit Horizon, and then I decided to rename it to Perpetua. It's less user friendly, but I liked it more. And at the end of the day, this app is mainly for me, and it means perpetually in Latin, which I thought was kind of cool because it's like you're perpetually doing your habits. Anyway, this is the document that I made to really plan for this app, and that's how I came up with all the ideas of what I really wanted this app to be. Um, I think before I dive into this document, it's important to state that I really went through this whole process of building this app using agile practices. I created stories using Jira, and then I did all of the typical agile ceremonies, sprint planning, stand up, review, retro, etc. Um, so, anyway, in this document, I answered some of the main questions like who is my audience, what's going to be in this application, what's it going to look like. I don't want to spend too much time on this, so if you want this document, I can always email it to you if you message me or pause the video. Some of the things I researched are similar habits, similar apps, or habit trackers that I liked or disliked, and what I liked about them, what I wanted to include, how I wanted to differentiate. Then I created some mock-ups of how I wanted the mobile view to look like, desktop view, and what I wanted on each page. Excuse my horrible drawing skills. And then I also included possible ideas how to handle some functionality. Of course, throughout time, a lot of that changed. Um, this is my wireframe. It kind of goes through the user flow, what pages touch other pages. Um, and then, of course, I included like the key functionality that I really liked and why I wanted to include it, and then the core technologies used. I think it's really important to state that um, I really loved that we were using the core technologies to build a single page application. In my work currently, I'm using Vue, which is really awesome and really cool to work with. And I know a lot of people are using React, but sometimes you can get kind of lost in the sauce, and those applications will do a lot. That technology will do a lot of the work for you, and you may not understand what's happening in the background. So it was really cool just to use strictly JavaScript, CSS, and HTML to build a single page application. And then of course, later I included more technology like MongoDB, Axios, etc. So here is my SWOT analysis. Again, I did make this app mainly for me, but I know in the workplace we want to think like a user, think how everyday users might like our product, might hate our product, how it might do in the marketplace. So this is kind of the strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats of how this app might do in the marketplace. So this is my app. I think a great place to start is probably the CSS. I currently have 2 flex rows and 3 columns. I created this cool adjacent design by doing flex basis and a calculation that you can see right here. It just pushes it a little bit to the side. And that's really cool because when the screen changes, so do the rows. And then here's what it looks like in mobile view. I do need to play with the media queries, so this has more padding in mobile view. But that is a future assignment. Another cool CSS thing that I did is I drew up these little circles that show you when you progress through your routine. So currently it's just a simple circle that looks like this, and then using simple functionality, when you click it, I turn it to active in the CSS, and that's what gives it the colored effect. Okay, a cool thing to talk about here is probably my calendar. When you render the page, it's automatically going to go to today's date. And then these are all the habits I have for today's date. I need to brush my teeth and exercise. So if I go to MongoDB, you can see that I brush my teeth every single day and that I exercise only 3 days a week, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. So right now, these are all the habits I have. But let's say I finish these habits and I want to go see the habits that are in the future. So I'm going to click on Tuesday. And now exercise disappeared because I don't exercise on Tuesday. I only exercise on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. So all I need to do is brush my teeth. So if we wanted to look at the code for that, yep, you can see it right here. So what it's doing is it's pulling the bolded date that I set in a previous function. It's taking that day and it's putting it in the proper string so that when we get to this await Axios call, it properly filters the habits of MongoDB by that day. And when you render the page, the day is automatically going to be new date, so today's date, in the proper string format. And then if we change the date that's bolded in the calendar, it's going to change that date to pull the correct dates in this function. So what is this, you might ask? Well, this is something I'm setting up in the future. So currently, when you click on a date, you see it pushes that to the route. It's not working yet, but the idea is instead of pushing just a weekday, soon it's going to get to the point where I can push January 24th. And so instead of just setting habits for Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, you could say, I want to do these habits only every Monday of this month from January 1st to January 30th. And that'll just be a way to get more specific habits. So I think we should talk about the settings page. So this is my settings page, way to create tenants. But if we did, this would be a great way to update your settings. So here's all my information. Here's the notification settings. I don't have notifications set up yet, but I'm working on it so we can disable them. And then if you want to, which this doesn't work, but you could change the language to Spanish. So let's go ahead and save our changes. And that's going to update the database in MongoDB. Looking at the CSS currently, the input fields are set to 100%, and they're inside a flex box, so when the screen gets smaller, so does settings. And it works for mobile view. And then I have this little cute hamburger icon, and I can go ahead and click on that, and then I can go to my next page in mobile view. This is about me, and this is Perpetua's logo, and this is about Perpetua, and this is what it looks like in desktop. No functionality here. I also have a contact page, so this is what it looks like. Again, I paused the video to fill out all of this information. Here's the bottom get in contact page. All of my links work, and they open in separate windows because I know how annoying it is when that doesn't happen. These links go to my LinkedIn page, my GitHub, and then this doesn't work because I never created my portfolio website, but if I do, that's where it would go. And then up here, here's all my information. These fields are required because I need your first and last name if you're going to contact me, and I need a way to get back to you, and email is the best, but you can include a phone number. And then I need a message. And then if I submit this using FormSpree, it's going to go ahead and it's going to tell me what you wanted to tell me. And I set it up to send it to my personal email. So then the next page is habits. So this is where the user is going to insert all of their information. So I have 3 forms here. I have an add routine form. So let's say I want a gym routine, and I want to add a couple of habits. I can go ahead and do that, except the form isn't hooked up. I also have add categories, and gym is fine. Or actually, let's do work. And then I can leave a note to myself, be more productive, or I could leave a description about what this category really means. And when I press save, I probably should have done a refresh, but I haven't had time to include that. So if I refresh it, you can see that my thing is updated because it's pulling from MongoDB. And I can show you in the code where it's... So I paused the video to find the code in my really long index.js file. In router.hooks, I switched through the views, and I get to the habits page, and here I have my Axios calls for habits, categories, and routines. And then I'll go to the habits view. And then here, using categories as an example, you'll see that I'm mapping through the categories. And I'm putting that in the HTML for every habit card. Well, you'll also see every habit card has a delete category, edit category, view stats. I don't have that hooked up yet, but I do have functions for view, edit, and delete, and I'm passing in the ID to make that happen. I also have my add habit form. This is where I'll add the name, the category. Right now these are hard-coded, but ideally I'll import them. I can insert my days, add my reminder, and in the future I should have this so it can repeat, and then notes if I need to do that. Okay, so another cool thing to talk about is these checkboxes. So currently in my code, what's happening is if we go to habit checked, you can see we have this function handle habit checkbox change. And we pass in the checkbox. And there's an event listener hooked up in the after render function. But the magic really happens here, because if we pass in our checkbox, and if that checkbox is checked, then we'll go here and we'll see that there's an Axios call to my third-party API to increment to a graph that I'm going to show on my stats page. And then there's another call that's going to push a date to a dates array that's on every single habit. And so if we look in MongoDB, this dates array has all the dates in which we performed that habit. So what I can do is later, when I hook this up to graphs, I can see exactly what dates I did that habit, and using calculations, using these days, I can see what dates I did not do that habit, and I can tell using the dates. So that's what happens when that habit is checked. But what happens when that habit is, or that checkbox is not checked? Well, it makes Axios calls to do the exact opposite. So here it decrements from that third-party API in that graph, and it updates my database to pop the last date in that dates array. And you can see that here. It's passing in the habit ID, but it's also passing in the habit dates. And here it's popping. So if we uncheck this, it should delete. So if we go to stats, here are all of my stats. This isn't hooked up yet. But this is chart.js. It's not hooked up yet, but you can kind of get an idea of what I was going to go for. And chart.js has this really cool feature where you could see exactly what categories you want to look at. And then if I click all habits using my third party, and forgive me, I don't have a lot of data in here, but you can see how often you've been doing certain habits, just like a GitHub chart. Another thing, and this is something I haven't done yet, but I'm planning on doing in the future, is chat with AI. So since we're putting in all of that information about when you were supposed to do a habit and when exactly you're going to do a habit, and I'm hoping to also include what time I did that habit, you can ask AI questions about, is my evening routine worse? Is my morning routine worse? This month I was really busy. Did that affect my habits? And etc. So anyway, this is just an MVP. I'm really excited to keep working on this, to keep improving, and to make a really cool project. And thank you for your time for watching this. I really appreciate it.